Hello and welcome. My name is Guido Bonanni.
And my name is Jared Cartoon.
From ASL Real Estate. Welcome back to another episode of the Childcare Update. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. As you know, these videos come out about a week prior to hitting the market.
Yep.
Welcome back. Now today we've got two fantastic opportunities that Jared and I want to present to you.
Yeah.
Both of those are listed by Celestine Aramo in our office. Celestine's contactable on 0408 111 383. Now the first one, Grantville.
Yes, this is, these are both really exciting opportunities and they're both in the regions. So it's really important that when you're looking in the regions that you familiarize yourself with that area. Because, some people, may have heard of these areas, may not, but, lots of growth in the regions. And importantly, as you will know, Gwen, this is something that you've been preaching for years here, that people in the regions, they're willing to drive further for services. They're willing to go that little bit further to a supermarket. They're willing to drive a little bit further for childcare.
Now, one thing I've noticed that in all the regions, and anyone that lives in a regional town that's watching at the moment, hello and welcome, and you'll agree with me on this, is that, their school might be 5 kilometres away.
Yes.
In Melbourne Metropolitan, 5 kilometres away is there's probably 15 schools on that way. Mm-hmm. Right. So in regional towns, definitely people travel that little bit further. So the catchment area in any childcare centre is actually a lot
much bigger
than in Metro Melbourne.
Yeah, absolutely. So that leads us straight into the first opportunity, which is Grantville. So the address of this one is 1517 to 1529 Bass Highway, Grantville. I'll say it one more time, just in case you missed it. 1517 to 1529 Bass Highway, Grantville. Now, this is a bit of a unique one because we're going to market with two proposed floor plans. So firstly, an 88 place single level option, and secondly, a 68 place single level option. And operators out there will have the flexibility of assessing both floor plans and being able to elect or choose which one they prefer. So that, that's quite nice because, out there in the regions, that type of flexibility of seeing, an 88 place and a 68 place and knowing what you're comfortable with and having the option to choose is a nice thing that this developer has done.
One thing that I've looked at both sets of these drawings, and don't get me wrong, both drawings are fantastic. I really find them they're state of the art. What stage are they at though? So the prospective tenant or the successful tenant, right? They would be able to choose either a 68 or an 88 place centre.
Yeah, that's right.
And will they be able to have input on the design at all, or is it the stage where it's beyond input?
Look, I think that operators out there will be really impressed with this floor plan that they've got. It's a really practical floor plan. The architect here has taken their time in designing this. There's been lots of input from the developers on this. We've given some input as well. And I think that operators will see that this is a very well thought through floor plan for both options, whichever way they choose. I think that there might be a bit of flexibility on some changes. However, the developers here, they're very experienced developers. They are actually planning quite a large development on this block. So this is just one component of a much larger project that they have.
It's adjacent to like a retail food service station.
Exactly right. So it's over 7,000 square meters of space, right? Prime real estate on Bass Highway. It's going to be a service station and quick service retail at the one end. So that's
right down the other end.
Right at the other end.
Yep.
A big car park in the middle with retail that lines it. And then at the other end, so it's a corner block as well, will be the childcare, purpose-built single-level childcare.
Okay, so any sort of tenant here doesn't have to worry about the petrol station or the
no,
station
definitely
there.
not.
It's far enough away.
Yeah, it's a really big block, and they're at complete opposite ends with a very big car park that separates them. But operators will naturally benefit benefit from all of that activity. They're really trying to create a bit of a commercial hub here along Bass Highway. So there's going to be lots of exposure for this operator to have all of their signage along the Bass Highway. So that's all really
Highway,
important.
Grantville. So just talking about that area in general, where are we located? For those out there that don't know where Grantville is, they might be Googling it on their phone now.
Absolutely.
So what are the surrounding...
So yeah, look, this area is on the way to San Remo.
Okay.
So I mean, Phillip Island, San Remo, Cowes, that's sort of where Grantville is leading towards. It is a coastal town, so I mean, it's a growing township at that as well. Importantly, I've got something here that many operators want to see, and that is future growth. What is the growth profile of a given area? And
definitely.
in this instance, we've got quite a large subdivision happening just behind this site. So
is that the Goldfields group that's doing that one?
Goldfields Property Group, they're doing a large 160 lot subdivision behind. It's one of their biggest planned housing estates, right behind the site. That's in addition to all the other subdivisions that we're seeing in Grantville itself, and we'll have all that information as we normally do in the information memorandum, which you should request, absolutely. And amongst that as well, just to sort of give you a bit of an idea of what other development, commercial and retail development we're seeing in this area, all of the residents in Grantville are currently driving as far as San Remo to do their shopping for their groceries. And that goes back to what we said initially, that people in the regions, they're willing to drive far to get their services. So that's 20 kilometre catchment. Imagine how many smaller towns amongst Grantville in a 20 kilometre catchment will be coming into Grantville for their childcare or going elsewhere for their childcare. So it's quite a large catchment. Adjacent to this block is another block that might have a potential grocery shop and other retail hub next to this block. So that's also sort of in the works. There was an article in the Herald Sun about that. So there is lots of activity happening in this area, lots of future growth, and all of that is really encouraging for operators out there to see.
So we've got regional area. We know the regions are growing. People are moving out to the regions. We've got a choice of 68 or 88 places on a single level. We've got a new subdivision directly behind it. This is seeming like a good opportunity. People, you need to call Celestine on 0408 111 383. I think this is a great opportunity. Is there anything you want to add before we get on to the next one, Jared?
Look, the last thing I'll say about this one, guys, is that the nearest childcare centre is 10 kilometres away. So there actually isn't even a childcare centre in Grantville. So, Grantville itself, plus all of those other smaller townships amongst Grantville, they're going to be going elsewhere for their childcare. So this is a great opportunity to get in at the ground level. Whilst there's all of this activity happening, future developments planned for these scenic coastal townships like Grantville, you've got to be looking at a long term here, and something like this, definitely is doable for an operator out there.
It makes sense. People in the regions that, even though they do enjoy driving that little bit extra distance, or they have to drive that extra distance to get services. Right. If there's a service in the area, they're not going to choose a childcare that's 10 kilometres away.
No, they're not going to go to San Remo for childcare. They'd rather go to the one in Grantville.
And this is going to be new, modern, clean. So we are really looking for a good, experienced operator for this one. So if you are interested, please, as I said earlier, contact Celestine Aramo from our office. Now, the next one we're on to, we're staying in the regions.
Yes.
Jared knows that I have a little bit of a love affair with the regions, and this one here, is at 571 Riverside Avenue in Mildura. Absolutely love Mildura. Have you been to Mildura before?
I have, actually, yes. It's a beautiful part of Victoria.
Many moons ago, I flew into their airport, and I only learned recently that it's the largest regional airport in Victoria, but only second to Tullamarine Airport.
Unbelievable.
Right? So it is an absolutely fantastic opportunity. What we've got here is a 106 place childcare centre. That size has been set. We already have planning approval. So this particular one here, as soon as the tenant is selected, we'll be going to, the developer will be going to building documentation and moving forward. Right. So one of the things that I like in the area, fees are $115 a day.
Wow.
And in regional, that's quite strong.
Yeah, very strong.
Very strong. It's a massive catchment out there as well in Mildura. Now, There was a fun fact that you wanted to mention about Mildura.
You know, like that's just it. Is you know, I think people who are looking for you know, sustainability and growth, Mildura is just, it's a powerhouse township in Victoria.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at the facts, 56,969 people live in Mildura. And
big regional town.
Huge, like, and as you said, the busiest regional airport. I mean, something like that type of infrastructure is there to stay. And
it's the food bowl, isn't it, of Victoria?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like all of those industries, all of those agricultural industries. So, I mean, it is just a powerhouse township. Mildura supports 22,368 jobs and has an annual economic output of $6.9 billion.
So almost $7 billion.
It's just crazy. So I mean, you know, huge population lives out that way, massive airport, huge industries. You know, people are hooting outside because they're agreeing with us. They probably love Mildura too.
They think we're famous.
But I mean, like, you know, that's just it. I mean, these are the types of things when you've got an airport of that scale and size, that is anchoring your future growth, because, you know, all of those people that are going to be flying into Mildura or flying into Melbourne, you know, for work or for pleasure or for business, whatever it is, you know, having one of the busiest airports in the regions. I'm not surprised at seeing these statistics about a town like Mildura. I mean, it is just an absolute powerhouse.
Well, you may love those facts, and they are all very, very valid facts. But the one fact that I love about it is there's about 1,000 babies born every year. Right? So this is a childcare centre. We've been taking care of 6 weeks to 5 years old. 1,000 babies born in the area every year, I think is a fantastic stat. So one of the things that we wanted to mention to you as well is this IN is ready to go, right? And our developer is very keen to do a deal.
Yeah.
Right? So
aren't they all? Isn't everyone?
Yeah, of course, of course. We're leasing sort of 4, 5, 6 childcare centres every month, and we're picking areas that have got demand, that we are actually passionate about. We reject a lot of leases. People knock on our door all the time saying, "Oh, can you lease my childcare centre?" We're saying no to them.
Yeah.
Right. We're picking the ones, the creme de la creme. You know, our database of prospective tenants know that we've got the creme de la creme, basically, right? For lack of a better word. But so as I said earlier, fees $115 a day, 106 place childcare centre, 571 Riverside Avenue in Mildura. You need to jump on the phone. You need to call Celestine on 0408 111 383. Request an information memorandum. Have a look at these plans. I think they're fantastic. Jared, have you seen the plans?
I haven't yet, but that is the first thing I'm going to do after this.
Yeah, no, I was looking at them about a week and a half ago, and I thought they were great. I remember at the time when this particular listing was one of the ones we were deciding whether we were moving ahead or letting it go back to the keeper. And this one here was just like a no-brainer. It was something that we were really keen on doing, and very proud to be able to represent our landlord.
And that's just it. Is that, you know, in the regions, the floor plan has to be done right. I mean, in metropolitan areas, you know, we've seen in the past that, you know, the floor plans, you know, operators might have a bit more input in them on their preferences, but in the regions, you know, it's really important that you take to market a really practical, functional, operational floor plan that just is going to really capture the attention of those operators.
You haven't seen these plans, and I want to tell you something about these plans that I love.
What?
Right? At the moment, there is a shortage in Australia or Victoria and Australia of hospitality workers, so on and so forth. You know, medical workers. There's also a shortage of childcare workers. Right? And when I saw that, obviously being in the childcare industry, you sort of think to yourself, like, how can we attract more people to the industry? Now, one of the things that attracts more people to the industry is loving to come to work, having a space that they're proud to work in. If you have a look at these plans, and I'm sure you will now, right, you'll find that there is a lot of staff amenity. Right? So anyone working at another childcare centre in that region, if they do sort of are thinking about leaving, they'll jump over and even come in for an interview and have a look around the centre and see the workspace. It is so important to have an inviting workspace these days to attract those staff, because we have got staff shortages. That the developers really put their thinking cap on this one and has future-proofed that for exactly that, for the staffing issues.
That is actually actually a brilliant point. And, you know, especially in the regions, there's a lot of older style, sort of maybe, I'm trying to find a polite way of using it, but
don't use the polite word.
Stale centres out there that were built, you know, probably in the 90s that have still been there. You know, these are purpose-built, beautiful facilities. I mean, these are architecturally designed, stunning facilities, you know, lots of natural light, lots of open spaces, very inviting, you know, pleasant work atmospheres. I mean, that is exactly to your point. I mean, you know, these types of centres, they are going to attract all the new young families to send their kids there. And with that as well, the staff. I mean, if you'd want to work in a nice, open, welcoming, friendly environment.
Staff is one of the, is your biggest asset to any business these days, and you attract the right ones. You know, they're going to come along. Now, if you're still listening after us waffling on now for probably 10 minutes, right? Don't forget to call Celestine on either of these 0407 111 383. You can email her on celestine@aslre.com.au. Look, I just wanted to say to everyone, thank you very much for watching. Jared and I really like putting these together for you. If you do have any questions for myself, whether it be you know, a question just in general on childcare, if you have a question for Jared as well, you can call me on 0407 444 808. Or Jared, how do they contact you?
You can contact me on 0499 555 101 or by email at jared@aslre.com.au.
Once again, thank you very much for watching and have a lovely day.
See you in the next one.